I'll just wait till the stuff comes up on YouTube and that. Oh, shit, I'm going to have to turn my telly. Can you hear the telly? Back off, doesn't matter.
I can't hear it, my end, John.
Right. That's me, that. What a rookie. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm very good. I'm with my mum. Mum's sat with me today. I'll just show you. Mum, are you saying hello? Got you saying hello? To everyone up here on screen, Mum. Give them a wave.
Where?
No, well, she's holding on to a drink. But, yeah, and got a really special guest on tonight, guys. Gary Clarke and me and Joel, if anyone knows Joel, when we started really getting into things, and 2017-18, we'd seen the Dragons you was part of then, the Dragons, and yes, we wanted to know more about common law. Again, Big John isn't one who just goes on the screen and reads things. Big John goes and meets the guys who deal with this, and Gary is one of them guys. So we had a day in Chester. I can't remember if it was 2017 or 18. Yeah. And you was out in Chester, so we came down and we met quite a few of you for the first time. And even though Gary's into common law and that, ladies and gentlemen, he's a patriot and a supporter. When Telford broke, Gary was there in Telford, weren't you? Doing the demos there. I think we did something like 3 demos in a year in Telford. Birmingham, we've had demos in Birmingham that I know Gary's been to. London, all over the country. Let's just say it's all over the country. So, again, Big John isn't someone who just reads and looks Big John goes talking to the people who do the stuff. And we was getting into common law, me and Joe, wanting to know more about it. I'm not an expert. I never said that. But I do think that common law is another thing we can use to get the control of our country back and to get some power for, like, working class people. I do truly believe that. I've always said that. You won't see me anywhere slagging it off. I don't. I know what I'm talking about. And I've even been to the common law courts and seen a court set up, seen all the rules, seen what you have to do, just like a real court. I've seen this. I took notes and spent a day in Wigan. So I'm really honoured to have Gary on tonight. It's been a while, but again, I can't say enough about Gary and the stuff he's done. Right. Gary, welcome.
Welcome, John. Been a long time now, see.
It has. The first time, I'm sure it was 2017 that we went to Chester.
And then, if you remember, the next time we met was in London in 2018, just after that. I think it was around about October, November. It was freezing cold and pissing down the rain in Telford. And then, in Chester, sorry. And then we went to London in the spring, I think it was, or summer 2018. And we met you and Joel, and the Dragons had actually got a sponsor. Because as you know, we don't charge people for anything. We do everything for free. But they printed us some T-shirts, and we gave you one, we gave Joel one, and we gave hundreds of T-shirts out that day what people had donated. To push common law and the Dragons. And everybody knew who he was because he was one of the first on the scene doing that thing and getting the message out. And it was just after, if you remember, just after the Corn event. The Corn event was in the January, and that was on around about July, August, I think it was, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, definitely, because me and Joel were well on it then, and like I said, it was like really a big step up for me. Them couple of years, big step up. But again, like I said to people, again, it's easy to see things online, but you know, like when you really want to know, you need to meet the people. You need to sit down and study the things that you're going on about. And I know a lot of people who feel more confident that, like, I've supported people who've gone to court and represented themselves, and they've won the cases now. And it's not what we've been doing. We should have been doing stuff like this, shouldn't we? Representing ourselves in certain areas.
Well, CMW do represent people in court. We've got a court case at the moment ongoing, which we are winning. But obviously we can't say a lot about it because it's an ongoing case. But we do put it on Facebook when the dates of the courts are going on. So you can go in the court, in the public gallery, and you can watch this stuff being done, you know, put in action on the day if you want to.
We should do, everyone should get into doing stuff like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the Khan case we did back in 2018, January. We went in, as you know, we went in under Article 61 with common law as well, plus Bill of Rights, all the Constitution, all linked together. But we was backed by Article 61 when we went in. We called the police for assistance. The police wasn't called, we called them. It's all on the video. If you go to Lawful Rebel, you'll see it on there's two lots, there's videos and there's live videos. If you press on the live videos, it's right at the bottom on the live videos. It's one of the first ones we ever did. And you'll see the live from the start of it to the end, where Khan went to speak. I spoke over him. I read the charges out, told them why we was there, peacefully and lawfully. The police was there to assist us. We read out the charges. Then the police sort of came to us. We had a discussion with the police. You'll hear it on the tape where he says at the end, these are indeed old laws, but they are still all in full force. It's going to take some looking into. Will they give us the crime number? He went right through to the CPS, but he got kicked out because of lack of public interest, as they say. The old chestnut. And that was because you got 250,000 plus voting him in as mayor, and probably 30,000 who wanted him investigating. Now, me and you both know that wouldn't happen if it was me or you. They'd investigate that crime anyway. Because these people think they're above the law, it's a popularity contest for these people. So you have to push it, and you have to get the public backing. And the public didn't back it, unfortunately. But that case can still be reopened if people back it.
So what would we do there? Would we have to get a petition together and get some, like, member of parliament?
You just have to get everybody doing what they did last time. Writing to Islington Police Station saying that these charges was put in on 13th of January 2018, Saturday the 13th of January 2018. It was closed due to lack of public interest, but now the public are interested in what was in that crime because the crimes was committed. It's all there. We can't talk about it again because if we tell you what the crimes are, then it scuppers the case. But there's enough in there to put them all in prison. But people don't seem to want to do anything about it. But you've got the chance to do it. You've only got to bombard them and you can reopen the case because now that is in public's interest. And don't forget, that day, John, we didn't just, people say, oh, you're racist, this, that, and the other. No. We arrested Sadiq Khan, but we also, citizens arrested Keir Starmer, Kate Green, Andrew Harrop, all top Fabians. And that went live around the world. We did it live on television all around the world when we did that, as you know.
Yeah.
And so we wasn't just there being racist after Khan, we was after all of them. Yeah.
Well, that's what they're just saying it. And when you look at the charges and all that, it's nothing to do with colour, racism, or anything. It's like law things, you know what I mean?
treason, subversion, sedition, to do with all them things.
Yeah,
and like
well,
I said, for once, the police actually did the job, John, and they got it right to the CPS. It was the people who failed us, not the police.
Oh. Well, so going forward, and you just said a minute ago that if there's more public support, which you think there is now, then we could have maybe that done, couldn't we? We can continue with the case.
Yeah, there's a possibility it can be reopened, because back then, I think, like I said, I think it was 5 years too early myself. I think if we'd have done that last year at the conference, we'd have got more support than we'd got 2018, because they hadn't done all of this oppression, what they're doing in the last 3 years. You hadn't even started it back then. So people were just blissfully happy. They didn't realise what was coming. We did.
Yeah. Good evening, Peter Smith, Johnny, not Powell, MBE. Thank you, Jenny. Lovely to see you in the chat. Repair Shop, thank you very much. Jackie Cup, thank you, love. Hello, nice to see you. Who else have I got on? Mark Williams, loyal Mark. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Peter's a lovely lad, Peter Smith, John.
What, Canadian
very
Peter
good
Smith?
Sorry?
Canadian Peter Smith.
Now, this Peter Smith's English, but he goes out and outside the court and stuff like that and exposes them and all that. He's got his own little Facebook.
The Peter Smith in the chat is one I know. It's not your particular one.
Well, he's probably a good lad as well, by the way. You know,
they're all good lads. The ones who come on my chat. Good evening, Claire. I'm just going to check my social media, and we will talk about that black country flag. So, I just want to say to the chat, my political party, one of the things that we're against is the erasure and the colonisation of our history. Okay, the slave trade happened, but nobody now is guilty of that. I think me and Pat both agree Britain has done enough for the world, right? We've done enough for the world. So we want people to leave us alone, and we're sick of our statues and all that. Why does nobody tell you that Mahatma Gandhi, the Indian guy, why don't no one tell you how he used to think of black people, which was ridiculous? And we've got plaques and statues of him all over the country. A particular video we did is he changed Cecil Rhodes' house in London to a new name because he was linked to the slave trade. And on Pat's leaflet was the fact that Muhammad owned slaves, other people owned slaves. You know what I mean? And we're sick of it. We're absolutely sick of it. And in the background of the picture, ladies and gentlemen, you can see the black country flag from the west, from the Midlands. And I've already done a video to tell you the importance of the black country during the war, right? And Gary will confirm all this. And the black and the red represent black by day and red at night. Black by day because of all the soot, red at night because of the fires of the furnaces and the smelting things. But Gary, tell us about the black country.
Well, you've just said that, but the chain represents the heritage of the foundries, etc., that was around at the time, because the black country was mainly Dudley, Wolverhampton, West Bromwich, Wednesbury. You know, that was like the black country area, and it was all foundries. And like you got Stowbridge, Ockerhill, which is where the mainly was in all the foundries was in Dudley, and it was basically all foundries. That's why you had all the black by day with the soot, and then when it went night time, you could see all the heat, because obviously they left the doors open because it was too hot in there, so you could see all the heat for miles. That's why it was red everywhere. And they, like you said, they had a big stake in the war, in Second World War, with the ammunitions and stuff. for the war effort. But the flag was adopted in 2012, and people were saying it was racist. It's not racist at all. If you look into it, it's just all about the heritage. And the rumour is it got its nickname from Queen Victoria when she was passing through, and she said, "Oh, look at this black country," you know, because it was sky was all black, and that was the rumour that's going. I don't know whether that part's true, but that was the rumour that they got it, that she gave it its nickname because of the foundries and that pumping the shit out every day, all day.
Well,
but
why else I mention it is that a couple of prominent councillors in the Midlands have tried to get this. They don't like it. Said it's racist because the chains represent chains from slaves, because chains were made in England back in the days then. But but I don't remember that. I'm from this generation. I remember what happened during the war, World War II.
Listen, if we could get off of these councillors on a live and tell them who was really behind the slave trade, then they'd be shocked.
They would, wouldn't they?
But obviously, you can't say it on here because it's an instant ban.
Yeah, right. I have mentioned this, and I have talked about it on videos. I've talked about history and parts of slavery. I mean, many people might not know, but Jews actually had slaves. It's you won't hear that off anyone's voice, but I have done a show. I've showed the information. I've showed you the rabbi who says and all this lot. But it's all right for other people not to be mentioned, but they've got to pick on us, and I'm just sick of it, mate. I'm just sick of it. But again, even before my Activision, I knew what the Black Country meant. I knew what it did during the war. I knew it was a big place for all the foundries and that. And I'm from the Northwest, but I think I know a little bit of my history, and that's what it represents. It don't represent anything else to me except mainly World War II.
They'll never get rid of that flag because people are proud to be from the Black Country. So they're not getting rid of that flag, no matter what they do. People will always have them printed and fly up. It's because it's not what people think. It's nothing to do with slavery.
No, I know. Honestly, it's just madness. But this is a world we live in, where the Woke Brigade, and you can get cancelled for anything, and stuff like that. And it's just shocking. It is just shocking. And we used to go to the Midlands and Birmingham a lot with my dad, and he never mourned or anything about it, and he knew what the flag was. He never mourned about it. But these new victims, people who are always thinking the victims are just going on about it all the time. It just upsets me, Gary. You know what I mean? And again, I'm a UK person. I don't just know the North. I've had family. We've been going down to Birmingham since the 80s, since I left school, because we had a sister who lived in West Bromwich. I spent time there, spent time in Nuneaton as well. I've been to Coventry quite a few times. It's part of our country. And, I'm proud of what we have around us, and what we do for other people. I'm proud of it, So it's a big thing for me, the history thing, Gary. It really is. It just kills me. Don't it, Mum?
Do you know the real reason why they don't want it, John?
Go on.
Because they used the Black Country for the Industrial Revolution. Then when they was finished with them, they closed everything down, got rid of everything, and this is a reminder of what we used to be. And that is why they don't want it and calling it racist, because they've removed that history now, because there's no foundries in the Black Country anymore.
No, there isn't.
But they want the history removed. So basically, they wanted an area to build up the Industrial Revolution, to do all these things, to pump all this shit out. The Black Country was chosen when it was no longer viable, and they'd finished and they'd moved on to something else. They shut everything down, but now they don't want the history to be shown. That's all this is about.
Well, you know what? We should be fat. I don't care what anyone says, whether they want to go green or what. Right now, we should be getting some fucking coal and foundries going so we can get some heat for our old people and power. That's what we should be doing. You know what I mean? It's all right that we only have 3, maybe 4 coal power stations. China has over 3,000. China and India for the next 30 years are going to be doing a coal power station per week for the next 33 years, guys. Honestly. And here's little old Britain, and we're all suffering and all that. It's ridiculous. So I get some foundries going. And I mean, we talk about British industry. Our steel was the best in the world. Am I not right, Gary?
Yeah. And that's the same. You look at Sheffield, and that was famous for its steel. They shut all them steel industry down. And majority of the steel factories that are still around in Sheffield, you'll find the majority of them are Dutch owned. People think British gas is British. It's not.
No, it isn't.
It's
Canadian. I think we are. If I'm correct, Pat will tell me in the chat that we want to nationalise some of our stuff here. Definitely, so that we're well looked after. I think it's infrastructure like the railways and stuff like that, and some of the power things. We want to nationalise that, so you know we know it's there for us, and we can run it, and the money comes back to the UK or whatever. It's just that we've got to run it better than what we run it before, but I think we will be able to do that.
What's happened is, John, you've gone from people who used to run the country the way the people wanted. Then in 1972, when the blackmailed Ted Heath, it all changed, because then the government no longer worked for the people. And basically, they've been puppets ever since. So instead of having any knowledge of how to run a country, they're just reading scripts. They're just actors.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. They don't know nothing about how the country's run. And this country was sold out a long time ago in the 1600s. Queen Elizabeth I. There's a video on Lawful Rebellion channel. Go and look it up. It goes from the history from 1600, and you'd be shocked at that flag you've got behind you, John.
Oh, the British flag. Yeah, I know. Well, let me just say before Pat starts, we are loyalists. I know, but I mean, like you said, institutions have been took over and all that. Let's get some control of our country. Then let's get these institutions back. Let's get these institutions back. We are going to campaign for an English Parliament, because every other country in the United Kingdom has an English Parliament. We'll have referendums. But, I mean, as long as we can cut off control of the globalist puppets, we'll be able to do what we want, you know, and we'll be able to run our country how we want. And we still want to keep the union together. We still want to keep the union together. And we think that's important. I know there's people who are against the union, but like I said, we can change all this when we get control of our country. We can come out of these globalist puppet things that are infecting us. We can come away from them nasty European laws that interfere with everything and bring our own constitution back. We'd have referendums. We'd have to work on the constitution. I think a lot of our laws are outdated and some need updating, but we can do all this. But we've got to learn it ourselves. We've been left, and we haven't done enough to learn the P's and Q's of them people to do things. Because like you said, Gary is involved in a court case, and you know, how many of us would have thought if we went on our own, wouldn't have gone to court, we wouldn't have done these kind of things, but we're all learning and we can fight back. But we are for the union. We are definitely for the union here. But I have heard the stories, and I think the link that I'll find that you mentioned is one of them that I've seen, Gary.
Now, what that flag is behind you, John, is a corporation flag. It's a flag of the British corporation. It's not a people's flag. It's a corporation's flag. People have been duped. And if you go to that video, I've just told people about on Lawful Rebel, it goes from the history from 1600 right through to today, and we've all been duped. I used to love that flag myself, but when you know the truth, when you know the real truth, you can't do it no more, because you know you're back in the corp. Why do you think when there's any weddings, etc., along the mall, you'll see on all the lampposts that you'll see the flag you got behind you, but you won't see an English flag on them lampposts, because they're flying the flag at the corporate, not the people. But I understand why people, and it's hard for people to understand and believe that. But if you do your research, it's truth's there.
Yeah, but like you said, it's a corporation, but it's up to us to change all this. We can change all this. We can change that, the way that these people are infecting us and taking over the control. We have to do that ourselves by coming together, making our constitution, changing bits and bobs like that, bring common law back. Honestly, like I said, you know me, Gary, like I said, I've been around a lot of common law. I've even been to the courts and stuff like that. And they are righteous things. You know, it's up to us to come together to sort this out. If I end up being Prime Minister and my party dominates England, then I will be able to sit down with people like Gary and any of the other common law guys and hammer out fucking things that will stay in law for us and all stuff like that. That's what I'll do. I won't just keep with the cabal that's in now. I know things will want to get changed. So, but that is, I understand what you're saying, Gary.
It's like, you know, Parliament, John. Do you know what the remembrancer is?
The what?
The remembrancer in Parliament.
No.
He sits in the Parliament, or she, and they represent the banks, and they're in Parliament every day. Now that's why we're in the ship with him, because these are the people running the country, and they go and sit in with the Parliament every day. The remembrancer, go and look them up, and they sit there every day when Parliament sits, and they make sure that their policies are being pushed out by Parliament. That's what they do. That is their job. That shouldn't be there, because the central banks shouldn't have anything to do with running the country. They should only look after the money side of it, not policies and legislation. But they are doing.
When you talk about that, then I know what you mean. The Rothschilds are people who own the money, but that's how, at the moment, that's how the world works, isn't it? That's what we've got to get out of that. We definitely got to come out of that and be on our own. And we can change all these things, but we've just got to change the way our country's run and get that traitorous government out. But, you know, like I said, it's up to us. I mean, in Parliament, they're all debating all times and hammering out new acts and things like that. We can do that. We can do that. When we get control, we can do that. We don't have to have them to do it for us. We should be doing that. And a lot of the things that they decide on, they should be asking us, shouldn't they?
Exactly. Acts and statutes are not law. That's why they're called an act. Because if it was a law, it should be called the law. It wouldn't be called an act.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
It's what people don't realise. And another thing people have got to wake up to, John, is these 15-minute cities, these smart cities. Because that's only the start. There's 15-minute cities and only the means to an end. Eventually, you won't be in them 15-minute cities. You'll be in smart cities. Because the smart cities are being built. If you go and look in Manchester, John, Birmingham's doing it. You'll find London, you'll find Liverpool, all the big cities you'll find are doing this, building these big skyscrapers. And these are for you, me, people like us. When they're ready, they're getting the 15-minute cities, they're getting you used to it, to being controlled, to being told where you can and where you can't go, what papers you need, what papers you don't need to be able to leave that 15-minute city. Because the big smart cities are coming. It'll be on a bigger scale, but there are going to be 9 zones. 9 in England.
Well,
but in the UK,
they're testing
in the
it
UK,
already,
there's
aren't they?
9 zones. And if you ain't got the paperwork, you ain't been a good little slave, you ain't getting out your zone to go and visit a family in another zone.
Yeah, they're already trialing it, aren't they, in Oxford? Is it Oxford?
Yeah. There's going to be now individuality, ladies and gentlemen, because what's going to be happening is, I've said this on my lives, John, everybody's going to be putting these little flats, and there's going to be fitted out exactly the same. Telly, washing machine, fridge, cooker, microwave, bed settee, blah, 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 blah. You're all going to be fitted out exactly the same. So if you come in my flat and then I'll go in your flat, it'll look the same and in reverse because you're opposite to me on the floor we're living on. But it'll be exactly the same flat. And then in that flat, you'll be given a water meter, a gas meter, and an electric meter. And you'll be assigned credits for each one per week. And if you are naughty, like me and you are now, we'll have them credits took off us for the week. So they'll cut your gas and your water and your electric off for you speaking out. China is the blueprint, was the blueprint, and now they're moving it into the world, the rest of the world. It's coming. People will laugh, say, we and you are nutcases, but you've only got to look around you. It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a conspiracy.
Not everyone's laughing. They've started the trials in Oxford, and is Rishi Sunak on? He wants to do the digital ID thing, doesn't he? Get everyone digitized and all that. He's the one supporting like that side of it. But I know these things are coming. We do get it. Good evening, Craig, Andrew, Pat's in. Yes, I've seen Pat.
Well, this is what's going to happen, John. They're going to crash the economy and say, oh, we need to get back into all the systems, you're going to have to need digital ID. And that's where they're going to get rid of your cash. They're going to steal all your money out. The banks are going to take your houses off you. You would not believe. I mean, I could be here hours if I wanted to really go into it and tell you what's really going on. But basically, they're coming for your houses. They're coming for your bank accounts. And there ain't nothing you're going to do to stop it as an individual, because it's impossible. Because they just tell me and you, if we quiet about it, piss off, basically. The banks are crashed. What do you want us to do about it? People have got to wake up and do these things now before they do it. It's too late when you go to your bank account, you put your card in the wall and it says 000. It's too late then. Because even if you drag them out and kill them, is you going to get your money back? No. You've got to do this and hold these accountable and stop that happening before it happens. Prevention is better than the cure, as they say.
Yeah. Well, there is a lot of talk about it. Everyone's talking about the 15-minute citizen, this kind of control thing, and they have started it in China, didn't they? Like you said, in areas of China. And stuff like that. I have seen it, but again, we're not going to do nothing now. We've got to get control of our country. We've got to get up there. That's why me and Pat are running in local elections and stuff like that. And we know we're going to make a difference. In the description, ladies and gentlemen, I've put up Gary's Facebook and Gary's YouTube channel as well. So them are in the descriptions of the video. They're in. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. I want to just jump to my website. So we've got a new thing up at the moment called Don't Drink the Kool-Aid. So if people want to have a look at it, I'm going to put the link in chat. Go and look at Don't Drink the Kool-Aid. And there's poems in it and everything. And it's our first issue. It's a collaboration with someone. And It's our first issue, but it's called Don't Drink the Kool-Aid. Please go and look at it. You can download a PDF with all the stuff on. We've got stories, poems, all sorts of stuff, and that's on the party website. I've just put the link in the chat. Please, everyone, please look at our party website after this, please, please, please. So, yeah, that's our new article. So please go and have a look at it. So Pat's asking if the French and Spanish are corporate flag. If the French and Spanish are corporate flags, if not, why? If not, why not? So are the French and a lot of the European countries have a corporate flag? They all should have one, shouldn't they?
It depends whether they've incorporated it, John. And if you look, ours is incorporated. If you look at that video I've told you to look at, the information's on there, and it shows you that the Union flag was adopted by the East Indian Tea Company, and the East Indian Tea Company used it as the logo, and then that company became Great Britain, registered trademark, registered corporation in Great Britain. That's why that is a corporate flag, because they use it as that.
Yeah.
Whether others do or have, I ain't interested, to be honest, in what's happening in France, because my priority is what's happening here, and it should be everybody's.
I get what Pat's saying, but I think you just said that about our flag. Then I reckon all the other flags are in that corporation, because the bankers will run them countries.
They'll all be corporations. It's the same as there's two. You've got America, and you've got the United States of America. There's your corporate, there's your normal. The French should be the same. They're all, every single country, today's world, Western country, is a corporation. Every single one of them. Germany, France, Holland, Belgium, England, all corporate. Why do you think they're all we're working together for? Because they're all pissing in the same pot.
Yeah,
and the
people. That's a banking system, isn't it? Like you said, we know they control those with wealth control a lot of what goes on. But again, I'm not dismissing anything. It's up to us to sort this out. It's not. We don't have to stay in these things forever. We didn't have to stay in the EU forever. We had a referendum and voted leave, whether we left or not. If you believe we left or not, so it's up to us. So we'll be having them referendums, and I'm guessing if the country would have been involved in having referendums on a lot of the issues that you've been saying and stuff, we wouldn't have been down this road, would we? We wouldn't be down this road, but we haven't.
It's all been done by stealth, John. It's all been done by stealth. Like I said, I used to love that flag behind you. I only found out about that flag because I researched it. I researched all the history. If I hadn't done, I'd have still been in the dark. A lot of people are still in the dark. They've lied to us about everything. And people on your show now, you need to read up on this. The amendments to the International Health Regulations 2005.
I'm still here.
Yeah, all right. That's what people need to read, John, because it's very serious. What's happening, what's coming. This is all being put into place as we speak. Me and Nathan have already done 2 videos on it. It's going to take about 5 videos to finish it all off. But we've done 2 so far on Lawful Rebel channel. That's the channel CMW uses to put our videos out.
That's a YouTube channel, isn't it? Yeah, the one on.
Yeah, Lawful Rebel. That's Nathan's YouTube channel, but that's the one we put all the CMW stuff on. But people need to go and research the amendments to the International Health Regulations 2005, because they're doing away with absolutely every last one of your rights and liberties. They're going to even take away your dignity. It tells you in the regulations. It tells you what's coming, but people just shrug the shoulders and they don't want to read these things. It's like they don't want to know the truth, what's coming. But you can't keep burying your head in the sand because it's not going to go away. At some point, we have to face these tribulations, John. You've got to do it. And Article 61 is the way forward, like I've said before.
Well, like I said, Gary, I get it, but we're not going to do nothing if we don't have control of our government, if we don't put more into getting councillors in, members of parliament, all that lot. That's what we need to do. We need to change our political class, so we're running it. We get more voice from the people rather than the puppets who are in charge. So we're at the beginning of a big thing at the beginning. But that's what we're going to do. I'm going to be taking a local council seat the next couple of years. We've got other candidates running. More people are going independent. More people are going parties like ours. And I mean, I hate to say them, but I don't like them. But people are changing the voting thing. Reform get votes. The Brexit Party got votes. All these parties get people.
But not these. But John, please listen to what I'm saying, bro. This amendments bill, Health Regulations 2005, there's going to be no parliament. There's going to be no more voting. Nobody's going to be needed.
Yeah, I know, but they can't get that. It's still got to go through Parliament now. So, I mean, how would you stop it, Gary? I'm saying I've got to go in the voting system, get rid of people.
We're trying to stop it with Article 61. So then you guys can do what you want to do. Because if you don't get rid of it, you're going to be surplus to requirements. Like the other 600.
Gary, how are we going to get Gary, hold on, I get you. But how are we going to get rid of it?
With Article 61. You remove them because they're treasonous, they're seditious, they've subverted the Constitution.
I get that. Gary, I get that, but there's nobody in Parliament helping us. We're not going to do it on our own. We need to take over Parliament.
No, this is nothing to do with the Parliament. This is the people and the barons.
Yeah, I know.
Nothing to do with Parliament.
All right. So how do we change the act then? How do we change the act right now? How do we do it without all them wankers in Parliament sending us down a wrong road?
We ain't going to, because if we don't rebel peacefully and lawfully, we finished. Because once this bill goes through, I think it's in May, it's over.
Right. So
that's why we're doing the long march to freedom.
I'm trying to ask you how we sort it out, and you're just saying we rebel. Rebel what? Stop paying our council taxes. Stop paying our taxes. How? Because if we all went down to Parliament now, they'd just shoot us. So how do you mean rebel? Do you mean
lawful rebellion? Article 61, lawful rebellion, gives you the lawful right to withhold your taxes, and you do it by transferring your loyalty to the barons, and the barons step in, and the barons shut the Parliament down, and then it gets sorted. Everything gets sorted from there.
Yeah, but who's going to support us?
We have to follow due process.
Who's going to support us?
Well, if the people don't support it, then they get what they deserve, enslavement.
No, but don't we need, I've been through this before, but I mean, don't we need people who are now have positions and stuff like that to side with us, so we've got more clout, get lawyers, top this, top that, all to side with us before we do it?
No, because you're not going to get one solicitor, one lawyer, one barrister, one member of Parliament to come on our side, because they're all corrupt and all part of it, John.
Right. So I know, but I nothing. What you're saying is never going to happen, because if we ever go to Parliament, we'll just get shot. So I don't get you. I don't get how
you won't get shot, because you go in there lawful, peaceful, under Article 61, under the Magna Carta, which tells you you've got the right to do it. You're not going there violent, and you're going to get the barons involved. once you've done it, we've got a long march to freedom coming up soon. We've been done now. It's coming up in March at some time. This will be the make or break of whether this country's got any bollocks. Because if people go on this march, it's for your freedoms. If you ain't on this march for your freedom, you don't care about your freedom, and you don't want to go into 61, then stay as you are, and I'll guarantee you, within 2 years, you'll all be slaves, because there's no other solution. None of these people who you think you can get on side are ever gonna.
I don't want to get anybody on. I don't want to get anybody on side. I want to take over Parliament. I want to become a member of Parliament. I want to force them to change the way things are going. We're never going to do it with just on our own, Gary, honestly. Anyway, I'm not going to go any further with this. But we'll never do it on our own. We need support of
You won't do it at all, John, because, like I said,
whether it be normal working class people or not, but if you try to go down to Parliament right now and lawful rebellion, they'll just shoot you, Gary.
They won't shoot you, John, because it's, like I said to you, it depends how you go down. We ain't going down with pitchforks, John, and fucking axes and machetes.
You said peaceful, so you'll be going down with paperwork and or whatever, and you'll be saying, by this, this and this, we're allowed to do this. They'll just shoot you, Gary. They'll just shoot you.
They won't, John.
Honestly, I don't. I've always said this about common law. It is very good and it is useful, but we need to. I'm not saying we need Jared Batten, we need whoever to support common law in the Parliament before we can use it. You won't be able to ever use it.
Part of it. Same as I'll give you an instance, John. Me and Nathan turn the CMW into a political party. We won't, because we can't, because we're constitutionalists. But say we did, and we've got millions of votes, and we get into Parliament, and we are now the new government. Do you think we're going to be able to do what we're told? No, we'll do as we're told, because we're going to knock on the door. You don't run like this. This is how it's run, and you'll be given paperwork as to how the country's run. Just like all them in there are now. You can go in there with all the good intentions you like. You're not going to change fuck all while you've got, sorry for my language, by the way, I don't swear normally. But you ain't going to change nothing with this politics the way it is. Because there's everybody who gets in that Parliament, don't matter who you are, you go with the best intentions, I've seen it before. You just turned into puppets. If you ain't going to do the bidding of them, you remove one way or the other. They'll slander you out with this.
Right. So, I'm not in Parliament. I'm a local councillor at the moment. But if my party controls Oldham, then I control what Oldham does. I control that we don't give any money to Ukraine. That's how I'm going to work. You know what I mean? And then if I come control of my town, then we put an MP in, and then that MP will put his finger up to him. That's how we're going to have to do it. We can't do it any other way unless we've got proper support of the law, unless the police supported. If the police supported you, like they have done, yeah, maybe that might work, but are they going to support us? Just let me go through chat. Tracy's in. Good evening, Tracy. Lovely to see you. Yes, Arlene, sorry. I've not been looking at the chat, and I've only just seen you in as well.
It's like the police, John. The police think their families are immune to all of this. They're not.
Nobody is.
The police are bringing all these people and allowing all these people to come in. Do you think these people are going to ask somebody when they're going to rape them or whatever? Excuse me, is your dad in the police force before they do it? No, they're just going to do what they want. So the police's families are now safer than our families. None of them are. This is what the police need to wrap their head around. Because if they think just because they wear the uniform, their families are safe, they're not. They're now safer than anybody else's. But you can't get through to them. I've tried to get through to police in that way. They say, I'll get it, but then the next day they're still doing what they're doing.
Well, I mean, referendums are pushing. I'm definitely going to change things in Oldham. I know for a fact I am, and I already am doing already on a little level, but I'm just going to work like that.
Yeah. I'm not saying you can't change it at local council level with councils, but you're never going to get in the parliament and run a country the way it is, because they'll just overrule everything you do. You can say Oldham's not sending any money to Ukraine, and they'll just override you because their puppet masters have told them that's the way it's got to be.
Well, I think we can do better. I think we can do better, and we can change things. I mean, why did we even get the referendum? Even though we haven't left the EU, we still won that off a vote. But they've never.
What haven't happened to it, John? Have we ever left? No, we ain't never left.
I don't believe we've left either, Gary. I've never said we've left. But
I'm saying we never left. Do you know why we had the vote? Because they thought they'd done enough homework, and they thought they'd brainwashed the people enough that if they give them a vote, they'd piss it. They'd overwhelmingly vote to remain. That's why we had the vote. If they thought that vote was going to turn out the way it did, you wouldn't have had it. I wouldn't have had it. It's sad times, and it's the same as we're trying now. People say it don't work, it don't work. We're proving in court it works, but it's not enough. We're running out of time because we're winning these cases now, but if something's not done, we ain't going to be going to any courts anymore because there's going to be no laws. They're just going to be able to do what they want to you when they want to you, because when you read that document I've just said, it's that serious. They're going to remove every right, every liberty, and even your dignity from you. You're going to have nothing. You're going to be like a farm animal to these people. And people don't want to read it. They don't want, oh, I ain't reading that bullshit. It's not bullshit. This is government. What the government are doing, they're telling you in advance. And then they're even showing you. They're telling you all this, and then they're showing you what they're doing. Here's a 15-minute city here. Here's a 15-minute city there. Getting you prepared in these little cities. It's like having cows on a field. You have them on a field grazing. You get them used to grazing. Then you move them into little smaller grazing pens. Then you graze them there. Then you put them on a lorry and take them to slaughter. That's exactly what they're doing with these 15-minute cities. They're getting you used to it so they can move you into the bigger cities where you'll be enslaved, and that's you for the rest of your life, because there's no escape once that happens. But people, I've always said this and I'll always keep saying it, people will reap what they sow. If you want to sit there frightened, it'll come on top of you faster than you think, and it'll be too late. You've got to lose the fear, and you've got to stand together, united, whatever it takes. Like in Oxford, they've got to stand together and say, get them things shifted. We don't want a 15-minute city here. And the same everywhere. Then you've got a chance. If individual cities start standing, and then everybody else starts standing when they come for their city, then you've got a chance. But as long as they're allowing this to happen, John, it's spiraling out of control. We're losing, in my opinion.
There is resistance to the 15-minute cities. There's going to be protests. I've seen all them, all the stuff where they're blocking the roads and they're moving the stuff aside. But you know, like, I've said this before. I don't believe that like common law on its own or it's going to help us. We've got to do it. We've got to do it other ways, because no one supports us in government. And honestly, if we ever go down there peaceful, they'll just block us from going in Parliament. They won't listen to anything that we're saying. So we, you know, at a local level, can I push for more constitutional rights for like the people of Oldham? Can I do that at my level, at a local level? Maybe I can. I'll have to look into it once.
Maybe you can, and good luck to you, John. But what I'm saying is, when you read that document I've just said, you'll realise you ain't got a lot of time.
Well, I don't know, but we're not going to do it all in. It's just not going to work. Us going down Parliament, they're never going to. They'll just shoot you. They will, peaceful or not. But anyway, we'll have to work on it. I do understand about the 15-minute cities. There's loads of stuff on the media about it now. Stuff all over Facebook, TikTok. You can Google it up and check what it is. And yeah, it is all part of the global control. Digital. If Richie Sunak gets away with it, he'll digitize us all, won't he? And it'll be all digital money and all that, which all fits in nice with the 15-minute cities and the kind of control you're saying. I get it. I get it. I'm never going to deny it. Otherwise, I won't be talking to you now. And I don't think of common law as that jokey thing, like you said. I've never thought of it like that. I've never looked at it disrespectful. And I know it's part of the old England and how we should be run. And like you said, the Rothschilds, the people with money, the bankers, they do rule a lot. They've caused half the wars we've had and stuff like that. I get that. But we need to cut that control off from everyone else. And the way I'm going to do it is...
Do you understand due process, John?
Explain it.
Due process, you have to follow due process. You can't just jump from section 1 to section 5. You have to do section 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to 5.
Yeah.
That's due process. Well, with lawful rebellion, you have to start due process. You have to have the 61 march. That shows your intent. Then you come away from there peaceful. Then you get the barons involved, because the barons then see you've gone and done your due diligence, your due process. You've alerted the government. We're not happy. Now you notify the barons. Then the barons have to get involved, and then they will disband Parliament, because you then control. You transfer your control over to the barons. You say, we don't want to be governed by the Parliament anymore. We're giving our governance to you. So Parliament then end with no power. And then the barons end up with the power, because the people have spoken. People don't want that. They want this. Then the barons go into Parliament. That's stage 3. They remove them. Shut Parliament down. You know who the barons are, don't you? The peers. The peers, the House of Lords. So they already know what they're doing. Right? They don't like the way this country is being run. That's why they invoked it in 2001. And it's not their fault. It's not been done. It's the people's that have been waiting 21 years up till now for the people to say, oh, we agree with you. Here's our sovereignty. Go and sort it out. And then once that's sorted out, they shut the Parliament down. All these people are arrested for sedition, subversion and treason. They're tried properly. Parliament is shut down. Then this is where you guys then come in, stage 4. Because people like yourself then, we don't want these people anymore. We want a people's parliament. People who are going to represent the people. Not politicians coming out of Eton who don't know what working class is. We want people like you, John, in the Parliament. And then they start filling Parliament up with educated people who know the people of the towns. That's what it used to be called. It never used to be called Parliament, if you remember. It used to be called the House of Commons, House of Commoners. And that's what we want to go back to, John. But we've got to do due process to get there. So 61 will work, but you've just got to do it in the process. But once you start this process, it stops this international health regulations coming into being, because the people have spoken. And then once they know they're going, they'll run to the hills. These people will, when they know that these judgment day is coming. And then section 5 is when them are all put in prison. We've got the Parliament we want, the local politicians like yourself, the People's Parliament, who run it for the people, by the people, for the people. And that's when you take back your power, how it should be. 61 will work, John. but people just poo-poo it all the time. But they'll poo-poo it and they can't poo-poo it. It's their choice. But that's how it works.
Thank you, chat. Tracy's quite thingy in the chat, active in the chat. Lovely to see you, Tracy, by the way. Leo1. Diane, hiya, Diane. Upstanding member. John Enoch. Oh, I've said John, but who agrees with you? I think John said he agrees with you.
It's just a due process we have to go through, John. We can't just go down there and be violent. It has to be done lawful and peaceful.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it has to be done in stages.
Yeah, like you did with Sadiq Khan, that was lawful and peaceful. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, but I still don't.
Did they shoot us, John? Did they shoot us?
No, but you didn't go down. You didn't go down.
We went in to arrest them. No, we ain't going down there to arrest them. We're going down there to show them we're in 61. We're all in 61. This is your warning. Because the Barons are now going to be invoked. We're going to now get in touch with the Barons, and them can do what they invoked in 2001.
And who are the Barons? Who are the Barons? With what kind of people are the Barons?
There's 25 Barons, and they're all lords and peers. But they've took an oath when the country's under tyranny and corruption that they will gather the people, and with the people power and the backing of the people. That's why they haven't done it up till now, because they need the backing of the people. They can't do it on their own, like you've just said. They need us. But once enough people are in 61, they can dissolve Parliament. They can sort out the problem, because they are peers. They see the Magna Carta was the Barons signed the Magna Carta with the King, and they said if ever Parliament, well, it wasn't Parliament then, but if ever the ruling class of the time ever becomes tyrannous and corrupt, the people have the right under 61 to stand up and remove it, and the Barons will be, we've got to basically be the Barons' army to remove them. And now Barons will say things like, right, stop paying this tax, stop paying that tax, and it'll be lawful to do it because the Barons are telling you to do it. I mean, but I don't know what people are so frightened of at the end of the day, because you've got nothing to lose. They can't hurt you. You can't lose benefits or anything like that if you go into 61, by the way. It's your lawful duty. It's your moral duty. You're complicit in the treason if you don't. It's what people don't understand. And if you're complicit in your own treason, how can you expect justice when you're allowing it to happen? You understand what I'm saying, John?
Yeah. I've heard it. I've heard the speech off you exactly before. Let me just check the chat.
There's a 4-step process. People want to follow it or they don't. But there ain't nothing else out there. What else are you going to do? Storm it unlawfully, then you will get killed.
Well, I'm still going my way. I still think that I can change, that we can change the world and change Britain through voting. No, I'm not going to turn to no nasty globalist puppet when I get in. I'm just a common man, me. And I'll push for the rights and these common rights and our constitutional laws to be brought in and respected, because they're not respected, are they? Don't matter how many of us. I know there's a lot of us on the common law side. I've met them all over the country, but the people, other people, and especially the ones who are in charge of our country now, they don't respect us. They don't respect it. And I
they don't respect it because we're not upholding it, John. Like you've just said, oh, that march is a waste of time. So straight away, nobody's going to go on it because we've just said it's a waste of time. So nobody's going to go on that march. So therefore, they ain't going to listen, are they? Yeah, for them to listen, we've got to start upholding our constitutional rights, our unalienable rights, like we do in the courtroom. Like we are winning in the courtrooms. But now we've got to transfer that out onto the battlefield, John, out onto the masses and get the masses to join in. Because
like you
unless
said,
you get them to join in,
like you said, the courtroom, we have to learn these things because we haven't learned them before. We can do our own court cases. I said this earlier on, and win them rather than leave them to other people where we get convicted because we don't know what we're doing or saying. I get that, and that.
well, you're never going to win in the court because you got it's all to do with the bar. The judge is on the bar, the prosecution's for the bar, your defense counsel works for the bar. So what outcome do you think you're going to get? You're going to get stuff. You're going to get screwed over.
We don't know the language. We don't know the language. I can't. We are going to get stuff because we don't know the language. We don't know our rights and our laws. This is what we go on about all the time. This is why I've got more.
And you ain't never going to win, John, because you know when you do that, straight away you're fighting it under legalese. And you're never going to beat legalese fighting legalese because you've got to use the common rights as a common man, living man, where you've got them rights, and they know you have. The minute you get somebody like Nathan or me in the court when we're talking, the judge tries to shut you up all the time because they know full well that what you're saying is true, and they can't deny it. Nathan's won loads of points in this court, in this last court case, and he'll tell himself when you have him on. But we've got to lose the fear of these people. They just sit there. They're no different to me and you, other than they're sitting in a nice suit and tie and a wig on their head, claiming to be better people than claiming to know the law. They don't know the law because they don't use the law. They use legalese.
Yeah, legalese.
If they used the law, majority of people wouldn't even be in a court.
No, they wouldn't. No, you're right. You're right. They wouldn't. Charles always says legalese.
It's 100%. Because what is common law, John? No loss, no harm, no injury. Right? That's common law. So how can you say be done for something that there's not a victim?
Yeah.
Well, where's the victim? Where's this loss, harm, and injury that I've caused? Where's the victim? There isn't one. That's common law. But you're not. You're under legalese. You go in and you accept. I've got to get a solicitor. So the minute you get a solicitor, you're on a loser. Because straight away, these people, let me tell you, they'll meet up a week, 2 weeks in advance of your court case, and they'll say, right, we'll frighten him with jail. And we'll tell him he's got to plead guilty or he's going to... And then your solicitor on the day will get you in and say, oh, it's looking grim. You're looking at 3 to 6 months in prison here, John. But if you plead guilty, I'm getting off with a fine.
Yeah, they always say that. But I don't mean using a solicitor. I mean doing court yourself and winning.
Yeah, no,
that's what I mean.
No, I'm agreeing with you, John. I'm saying that the minute people use a solicitor, they're finished.
Yeah. Well,
because
let me just tell you about this case. It was Anna Roffery, and it was Tom English, and I'll quickly do it. So she's seen Kim. She's phoned the police. When they eventually got to court, she said that Kim had stalked her from her house, which Kim hadn't. They took all electronic devices, and then Kim had a solicitor at the magistrates and ended up getting a conviction, right? And when they went down to probation, it was racial, and it was just a setup. So she appealed, did all the work herself, and then represented herself after, and it all got quashed and kicked out. So if she'd have done that, pardon?
Because there's got to be a victim. She hasn't victimised anybody. Okay, me and you have a row on the phone. Where's the victim? You've had to go at me. I've had to go back. We've both had to go at each other. Where's the victim? If I'm a victim, you're the victim.
Oh, both of us.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no victim, is there?
No, there isn't.
And so if you found and say, oh, he's been nasty to me and this, that, and that, you've been nasty to me. So where's the crime? We've both been as bad to each other. The problem with this country now is You're not. It used to be you was guilty and you was innocent until proven guilty. That's how these courts always worked.
Yeah.
Now, you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent, or if there's two people in, it's who's the most guilty. Who's the most guilty? Not which one's guilty and which one's innocent. Who's the most guilty? And that's who they go with. It's completely changed. Our courts are that corrupt now. It's unbelievable.
I get you, they are. But little things change, little things. And like I said, this is big, this was the decorative Lord Mayor of Liverpool. She'd been all over the media. She even ran for the Liverpool Mayor's job after Joe Anderson got kicked out. And we won the case. Kim did the work herself. We didn't have a solicitor. And Kim did all the questioning herself. And it ended up getting thrown out. And Tom now wants to do a civil case against her or something like that. And I might get him actually to contact you because I think they're looking at a little bit.
Well, no, because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to encourage people to do, John. Stop using the legal system. You can fight the legal system in the court using your living man.
And I've seen this on a couple of court cases now. Danny.
In fact, we're the only ones so far that's got it. People have gone in and said living man, and the judges run out the back door. We're the only ones so far, as I know to, I might be proven wrong, I don't know, where it's actually been put on the court record that this man is a living man. Been accepted as a living man. That's huge in a courtroom.
1 minute. Good evening, Mr. McCarthy. Put your link on chat. I hope you're all right, sir. Major to General, thank you very much for calling in. Diane's still there. SJ, good evening, love. I think Arlene's gone. What time? Right, we're on 12 minutes past 8. We'll do another 10 minutes or so, and then we'll call it quits. I get what you're saying, Gary, but I mean, my thought now is I want to tackle the political route. I can support constitutional rights and stuff like that. I can support that if I get further up, which I will do, because in another so many years I'll be more well versed with our constitutional rights. And I didn't 5 years ago, Gary, I didn't know nothing about common law, constitution. I didn't know nothing, right? And now I'm on a stream with you 5 years later talking about taking our country back. You know what I mean? So we have to do it little steps at a time. And I'm never not going to be a supporter. You know that.
Well, John, we ain't knocking what you're doing. We fully support you, but all we're trying to tell you is when you read that document I said earlier, we're fastly running out of time to do that.
What's the document called again, and which page is it on?
If you go on Nathan's YouTube, we've already done the first two. It's that longer document. It's called 2 seconds. Let me find it.
Lawful rebel or lawful rebellion?
Lawful rebel.
Right.
You'll see Nathan. You'll see like a hood. If you look on there and you look at the first two, it'll say.
Yeah, I got it. I've got it.
If you look at that document, or just watch them two videos, because you know me and Nathan don't tell lies. We say it as it is, we read it as it is, and then explain it in layman's terms for the people that don't understand the big language. And it's scary, John. And this is why we're saying we need to act now, all together. If we'll get you guys in that parliament instead of these scumbags, we've got to do this. Because it's the only way we're going to do it. Because otherwise, if people don't stand together, you won't get that chance. Because none of us will. We'll all be enslaved. But doing it under 61, the due process, you get your part, you get your day in Parliament, you get your seat, because that's what the people want. We don't want Boris Johnson and his like
No,
toffee
definitely not. Yeah.
in there anymore. We've had enough of them. They do nothing for us, John.
No, you're right. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Totally.
You know, we need lads like you in there, but 61 is the way to do it. Trust me. When you look into it deeper, you'll see it is the way to do it.
I've got the first video. Put the first video in link in the chat. Just a recent one in the chat. I'll put the page up again, and I'll do some studying of it. I have watched. I think I have watched one of them videos. Actually, I'm positive I have. But
you'll see once you see them, John. You'll see the urgency, mate. You'll see. I ain't doing this to be, you know, to antagonise or whatever. I'm doing it because I love you as a brother, and I want to see you do well. I don't want to see you waste your time. I want to see us do something together, push something where we can both benefit from. Well, we won't benefit from anything because all we're going to do is get the country back and then go back with our lives. But hopefully we'll put people like yourself in there who are going to look after our children and future generations.
But I mean, let's say in 20 years' time, when we've got our country back, though, we're going to have to sit down and hammer out new fucking laws. We are, so that this can't happen again for a start, like you said. And even though we can get Parliament back, we've still got to hold people responsible for things. So people have to have the due process in the common law courts and all that lot. So, you know, there's more to it than just getting it back. And I wouldn't want
to get exactly. It back. You see all these laws, this Maastricht Treaty, Barcelona Declaration, the Lisbon Treaty, the what's its agreement that was done with the African countries. Can't think what it's called now.
I know what you mean. I think you've mentioned
Marrakesh agreement. All these different ones. The Nice Treaty, which was the ones the Barons did, because that was the ones that's bringing all the fucking migrants across. All these treaties, when we do 61, will be null and voided. They won't exist anymore. And then people like yourself who are in that Parliament, you'll come up with the natural laws that protect us and benefit us, not rich, greedy bureaucrats.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, definitely.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, Gary. I certainly do. Honestly, Gary, thank you for your time. We'll definitely meet up again. I'll be getting Nathan on next, and what I'll do, I'll watch a couple of the videos. I'll write some notes down, and when we get Nathan on, I'll talk about the videos then.
Well, not just that. If you watch the videos, when you have Nathan, you ain't. When I'm telling you about it now, you ain't looked at it, so you're probably thinking, "What's Gary on about here?" But when you watch them videos, and
no, I wouldn't say that. I would never think that if I've had you on the show. I know you talk sense again, but
no, I don't mean that. I mean, you're probably thinking, what's Gary talking about here? I ain't heard of this. But if you watch the two videos and you have Nathan on and you talk about it to Nathan, you'll be clued up on it then.
Right, yeah.
You'll know more. You'll know more of what it's about.
Can I just ask, is it right that is the court case to do with Tracy Morris?
Our court case?
Yeah.
No.
All right. One of the videos says that talk with Tracy Morris with updates on her case with Garrett and you, Nathan.
Yeah. Now she wanted to come on like you wanted us on, but she ain't got a channel. She wanted to come on and give an update on her court case she was doing in Ireland.
Right. And what? And is it a regular court case or is she doing it under common law?
No, she's doing under common law as far as I know.
Right. Yeah, because Tracy's well clued up, isn't she, on a common law.
So she wanted a platform to put a message out. So I shared it on my wall, Nathan shared it on his, and we did it on Lawful Rebel, so we got the message out for her.
Right, well, you'll have to get me in contact with her, please, if you will.
Yeah, I can send you the number, mate. No worries.
Yeah, she knows me. She knows me, Tracy, pretty well, I think. So get in contact, and I'll have her on a show if she wants to talk about a court case.
I've known Tracy years. He used to live in Warsaw years ago. You don't know that, did you, John?
Pardon?
I said, I bet you don't know Tracy used to live in Warsaw.
Did she?
Years ago, yeah.
Did. Well, what? How long ago?
1990, 1999, something like that.
Right. How come she went to Ireland?
I'll let Tracy tell you that one because it's a long story.
All right. Right, no worries. Right. Gary, thank you very much for coming on. Quite interesting. I've got a lot of homework to do now, but I'll do it. I've never dismissed anything, me. There's all different. I've always said this. If we're going to change things, there's different ways to change it. And I do believe that common law and the Constitution will be a part of how we change things in now and in the future. I've never said anything different. If you think that I've said anything different, you can try and
and for people who think me and John was arguing, we wasn't. We was just discussing. Me and John love each other to bits. We've known each other a long time.
Of course we do. And I've had this kind of discussion, not just with you, with a few other common law people, but I'm not going to throw it out the window because I know that our Constitution and the common law is a big part of how I want my country to be. I get that. Yeah. But at the moment, my particular skill is in the local elections. We'll leave Gary and Nathan to do the Constitution and common law, but I'm going to get my thorn in the side by being in the local council and stuff like that. And I'll have to learn more about law and common law and the Constitution. I get it, but it's ongoing. But Gary, honestly, thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much.
John. And don't let anybody tell you that the black country flag is racist, because it's not.
No, definitely not. Nobody tells you that. Nobody says that. Again, we've explained about the industry. What, 25% of the planes that we used in World War II came from the black country, guys. Honestly. Yeah. And if you believe in the war, whether it was an ill war or not, that's what we used to fight and to defend our country. So, but thank you very much, Gary. Nathan still hasn't messaged me back yet. He has seen me messages.
I'll get on to him for you, John.
Pardon?
I'll get on to him for you.
Right, yeah, and I want to sort a day out, and then we'll get him on. But thank you. Let me just have a quick check of the chat. Thank you for coming on, Tracy. Craig, I've seen you. Pat, everyone else, Arlene, John Enoch Powell, Leo, thank you, mate. I've seen you a few times. Thank you very much. Diane, lovely to see you in chat. Michael, everyone else, Jenny's. Thank you. And again, Gary's in my description to this video on YouTube, Gary's links to his Facebook page and his YouTube channel. I've put the Lawful Rebellion channel in the chat already a couple of times. I'll put it in again, and that's the videos that I'm going to be watching.
Yeah.
But thank you, Gary. Honest, thank you. And we'll have to catch up soon. I have been to Midlands a few times actually lately, but we'll definitely catch up.
Let me know, son. You got my number, just let me know.
Right, I will do. And God bless, mate. God bless. Thank you very much.
And when you look into 61 more and you realise, I guarantee you'll realise You have to follow the due process, but it's the way to remove them and get you in there.
Right. All right. Right.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you very much. I'm not active now till I think on Monday. Sorry, Monday I'm on UNN with Vince Hawthorne. So I'm on UNN on Monday with him. He has a show, so 7 p.m. But thank you very much, Gary. Cheers, mate. Thank you, and thank you, everyone.
Yeah, no problems, John. Speak to you soon, bro. Thanks, guys.